Welcome back, YouTube. We are finally back with another video. After a little weekend of not being on campus, I have finally returned and we're gonna get started working back on the 318 again. And today, we're doing some cool stuff. Because today, I finally got Chrysler engine red paint, and that means we can finally start laying some paint on this Haas. Before you go saying, oh Josh, you need to do a spray coat like with the orange, how you know it's gonna look good? Well, you naysayers, I already did that off camera because I wasn't about to just show this to you guys with, no proof. So this looks great, Felissimo. We are gonna throw that stuff on, and yeah, once we get it painted up, we'll take the timing cover off, the pan is gonna come off, and we will put the seals on everything, get it RTV'd up, slap it in there, take the timing cover off, put the fuel eccentric on the cam, and then put the seal on the timing cover and a front main seal, slap that son of a gun on, take all the stuff off, drop the heads on with the gaskets, bing, bang, boom, and we'll have a nice 318 small block ready to run. So that being said, why don't we just get started and get into it? I think what I want to do is I'm gonna get a piece of cardboard or something, just write down everything I gotta do, because there is a lot that's gotta be done on this motor still. I'm talking water pump, fuel pump, heads, intake, time, everything, all the seals, everything, all gotta get done still. So we gotta take care of that. So that being said, let's get started. We got a lot, and I mean a lot of work to do. So, and no time to lose, frankly. I want to get a nice chunk of progress done before Thanksgiving break here in a couple weeks. So that being said, let's get to it. Enough talking, let's just get to working. All right, everybody, we got the block back over our little fiberglass piece or whatever. I'm gonna shake this can up and we're gonna get started laying the first coat down of Chrysler engine red. So throw you guys in a time lapse and we'll do that.
Noisy.
All right, so we got her pretty much dialed.
Don't do what we're doing.
Yeah, this is, I can
Wearing masks out here.
I can see numbers and I can smell colors. So
we're gonna let this sit for 10 minutes and we're gonna come back and hit our final coat.
hell yeah. And then after we're all done with that, we're gonna be dropping the pistons and rods into this guy's 406 because we finally got everything we need to get that put together. And this thing is gonna be sick, so we'll get to that here in a minute or so. All right, we just finished getting the tape off of the freshly painted block, and man, this looks great. Check this out. What do you think, John?
I think it's pretty cool. I like it better than the burnt rust color.
Yeah, the orange was not doing this thing justice. I mean, this looks so much better. Like, just look at this. Like, god damn. Ooh, pretty as hell. Very, very nice. Next step is going to be sitting and waiting for this to cure, because
hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. We have literally nothing else better to do. So, go faster! So now that my paint's drying on my motor, we're gonna start working on John's 406, getting all that together. While I go downstairs and get a bunch of supplies, he's gonna explain to you what he's doing right now and what we're gonna be doing. So let him get to preaching.
Basically what I'm doing is taking some penetrating oil and wiping down all the cylinder bores. You can also do this with ATF, that works really well. Basically each one, wipe them all down until they don't have any residue on your rag, to make sure you get any metal out, any corrosion. As you can see, a little bit on the rag, but mostly clean, so we're pretty good, ready to go.
All right, YouTube, so we got all our pistons and rods here. Now what we're doing is right now I'm going through and I'm cleaning up where all the old assembly assembly lube, I think it is. It's the stuff that ARP gives you to put on the bolts. So I'm going around cleaning up all the old assembly lube, grease, whatever you call it. And John's actually downstairs washing his hands right now because he's going to start putting bearings in all the rods and rod caps. Then we can finally start dropping them in and getting them bolted onto the crankshaft. So you will catch us back when we're doing that.
For putting these pistons and rods in, you have essentially five rings. you have your first compression ring, second compression ring, then your oil groove ring, and then there's 2 locking rings on the oil groove ring. Each of these have to be in a specific orientation. Pretty simple. Bottom of the oil ring expander goes towards the bottom of the cylinder. Then the 2 rails are on the top right and left side of the piston. The second compression ring faces the front of the engine, and the top compression ring faces the rear. So basically what we're doing now is just getting all the rings in the correct spacing, and then what we can do is dip them in the oil, put the locking ring on, and drop them in the cylinder bore. So we're going to do that probably on a time lapse right now.
Yeah, easy money.
Yep.
All right, so got the first piston dipped, rings and all.
Now we're going to put the locking cap on, which is
Somewhere to be desired.
yeah, we're going to find that and come right back.
All right, so we got our little ring compressor tool on there.
Yep. So
Now, actually, let's get a dead blow. Wow, look at this beautiful 318 over here. Also, I got my build sheet set up. We'll go over that later, but for now, dead blow. All right, get our bearing surface nice and lubed up with some Ultra Slick. You can do this with-
the correct amount for this is way too much.
correct.
That's the best way you can do.
That is the exact spec from GM on how much assembly lube to put on your bearings. So, follow Mr. John over here.
What we're gonna do, make sure our crank is right there in its bore. You're going to slide him down. Right
Oops,
there.
sorry.
You're going to guide him into place and then grab my dead blow, which is
Right here. Hold on.
2,000 years later.
expander is a little tight. See, when that tone changes, you know it's in all the way.
That's what we got next.
Now we're going to repeat said process
1,
7 more times.
2. Wow.
Yep.
All right, guys, quick update for you. I just finished taking the oil pan and the timing cover off of my block, so cleaned up a little bit of overspray on that and getting that ready just to get finished putting together. And
Broke the ring compressor, so we are going to drive a half hour to the parts store to get another one.
yeah, hold on, let me see. Let me show them how bad you junked this thing. Where is
Threw
it?
it in the garbage, right?
Oh, well, here. Check this out, guys. We'll go dig through some garbage. Yeah, that is no longer going to do any more compressing. So what we do here, into the abyss it goes.
We have 2 cylinders. It should be able to run on that, right?
Hey, guys. Anyways, that being said, gotta postpone this for a little bit. Let's go drive a half hour to get another piston ring compressor. All right, so we're back from the O'Reilly's run. We have got ourselves an actual functioning piston ring compressor. The other one has been yeeted into the abyss out the door. And now John's throwing these pistons together, going very, very nice, look very good. And now, since while he's got that taken care of, I'm gonna start working on 318 again now that it's kind of dry. So what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be throwing the fuel pump eccentric on. That's what runs the fuel pump on this engine.
Shut up.
All right, back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the air compressor. We're gonna be throwing the fuel pump eccentric lobe on the double roller timing set, and then after that, we're gonna throw the timing cover on. Actually, I gotta put a front main seal into that first, and then once we do that, we'll be able to throw that on, get the water pump gasket, and throw the water pump on, and then we'll have that bolted on, and then maybe do the oil pump tonight. I don't know. We'll see. It depends how long this guy takes and if he wants to stay for that or not.
I'm gonna take that as a we're not doing the oil pan tonight. So anyways, we'll just get started doing that, and I will set you guys up on the super secure tripod stand location, and we'll get started on that right now.
Our fuel pump eccentric here. Now, if you build 318s or really any Mopar small block, you're gonna notice that when you pull it off, it's gonna have this little ring that goes behind the eccentric, like so. When you go to a double roller timing set, you don't need this, so you don't have to put this on. I mean, if you do, it's not a big deal, but the keyway is shorter on this, so it's smarter to just put the eccentric on. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get started here. And then I'll go ahead and look up the torque spec. We'll get this thing torqued down. So, alright, got it started there. Grab our 5/8 socket, and we're just gonna run it on with the normal ratchet. Get it snug, and then we'll really torque it down with a torque wrench here in a second. Alright, so I just got the torque spec from the Mopar manuals.
It's ChatGPT.
And the torque spec for this bolt is 30 foot-pounds, so we'll go ahead and get our torque wrench set up. Our fancy dancy snap-on torque wrench from the shop.
Where did you find those vendors?
ChatGPT.
Mopar manuals, dude, let me tell you.
Sure.
Get it thrown on for 30 foot-pounds. This is always very scary. Oh, that's terrifying. Okay. Now that that's installed, I never want to touch it again. So, next up, we'll get our water pump gasket and get the bolts for that, and we'll get that tossed on right about now. Let's do it. All right, so after a little bit of light taps with the hammer, got our front main seal nicely installed. So now we're gonna get our water pump gasket, and we'll go ahead and throw this all together. Let's do it. All right, so we've got our front main seal installed. So now we can go ahead and slap this gasket on here, get our timing cover slapped on, and water pump as well, so we can get it fully bolted down. Good.
All right, we've got silicone on both sides of the gasket and the timing cover. Let's go ahead and throw this thing on.
Also, while I'm doing this, John has just finished doing all his run soon, so congratulations, John. You have done it.
Now I just have to torque them all down, which is scary, and I may fill my pants.
All right, so we got the torque spec for the timing cover bolts, which we'll do right now, which they are 15 to 20 foot-pounds. So we'll start doing 15 and go to 20 if it feels good. To be honest, I don't want to mess it up. So. No, don't you hit me with that.
Oh boy.
All right, so the water pump,
Rotating assembly is in.
yeah, well, I'll have to show the audience that once I finish handling my crisis over here.
Yeah, dude, I about made a mess.
All right, guys, so here is the full build sheet. In the future, to be added more or less things to the build sheet. And today, thankfully, we were actually progressive, as you might see, in a couple of things. One being paint. Things painted now, so that's great. We did acquire an air cleaner, but I do have to get a taller air filter. So I just have the air cleaner assembly. Gonna have to get a taller air filter. Also got an air cleaner stud. Might have to get a longer one, but we'll cross it off for now. We need to get water pump bolts. I added that on because we need it. We've got the fuel pump eccentric. Got that tightened and torqued down. Front main seal installed. Very nice. And we got the water pump installed-ish. Something like that. So, that being said, we're gonna call it for the day with the small block. At least the 318. And we're actually gonna check out John's 406 real quick because he's got all of his stuff done. Ta-da.
Yeah, so rotating assembly is completely in now. I was just messing with my oil pump stud. I was gonna put that on, but I remember I gotta press my pickup tube into my new pump. So I'm probably just gonna leave this here for the night because got enough done. So
Yeah.
yeah, but all of these rod bolts made me have a mini heart attack tightening them. So
I could hear the audible like exhales every time every time you tighten one of the studs down. So yeah, so glad that's done with. But I think it's pretty late. It's like 10 o'clock. So I think we're gonna call it. Big progress made today. Anyways, I appreciate you, all of you guys, for watching. And as me and John had discussed in the car, the channel finally has a cool name. So welcome to Wicked Builds. That is going to be the name for the channel for the foreseen future, because we're just doing some cool stuff. Anyways, thank you guys all for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will freaking see you later. So thanks, guys.